What if everything you believe about your life, your limits, your future was a lie? Not a mistake, not a misunderstanding, but a carefully crafted illusion built by the world around you. From the moment you were born, you were handed a script. Follow the rules, don't speak too loud, stay in line, be realistic. And somewhere along the way, you started shrinking. You started doubting. You started mistaking survival for living. But deep inside you, there's a voice that never died, a whisper beneath the noise telling you, this can't be it, there has to be more. And you're right, there is more. But you'll never see it if you keep wearing the blindfold they gave you. You've been told to chase comfort like it's the ultimate prize, a steady job, a quiet life, a smile that hides the storm inside. But comfort isn't peace, it's sedation. It lulls you into thinking you're okay when your soul is screaming for something greater. You don't hate your life because it's hard, you hate it because it's small. You were never meant to fit inside a box built by people who stopped dreaming long ago. And yet, here you are, following their blueprint, hoping for a miracle they never found. It's time to snap out of it. You are not a passenger in your own story. You are the author, the architect, the fire behind the words. But as long as you keep believing the lie that you're not enough, you'll keep building a life that reflects that belief. Every limit you've accepted wasn't born from truth, it was born from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of standing alone. But the truth is, you've already survived so much. You've already walked through fire and made it to this moment. That means you're not weak, you're untapped strength. And the world has no idea what you're capable of yet, so why should you keep watching? Because something inside you is waking up. This isn't just a video, this is a mirror. It's a challenge. It's a choice. You can turn it off and go back to pretending, numbing, settling. Or you can lean in and ask yourself the question most people run from. What if I stopped believing the lie? What if this, right now, was the beginning of everything changing? Not someday, not when it's easier, not when you feel ready, but today, this second, this breath. Because here's the truth no one told you. You were not born to be average. You were not meant to simply exist. You were made to create, to rise, to lead, to live. And every second you spend doubting that truth, the world loses something only you could bring. So don't just listen, wake up. The life you want is real. But first, you have to break free from the one they told you to settle for. Look around you. Most people are alive, but they're not awake. They walk through life trapped behind invisible walls, unaware they're even in a prison. And that's the most dangerous kind of prison, the kind you can't see, the kind you've built yourself. It wasn't made of bars or chains. It was built one belief at a time. I'm not smart enough. I don't deserve more. I could never do that. These thoughts seem harmless, even reasonable, but every time you accept one, a piece of your freedom dies. What you call reality is often just a reflection of the fears you've decided to obey. The saddest part is, it's not your fault. You were conditioned to shrink, to play small, to avoid standing out. Your mind learned to protect you by keeping you quiet, compliant, ordinary, and it worked. You fit in, you kept the peace, but at what cost? You lost yourself. You traded your potential for predictability. You stopped taking risks because someone once told you not to dream too big. You stopped speaking up because someone made you feel small. And now, you wonder why life feels hollow, even when everything looks hollow, even when everything looks fine on the outside. But here's the truth you need to hear. That voice in your head, the one that doubts, hesitates, fears, it isn't you. It's a program. A script written by years of fear, pain, and other people's opinions. And just like any script, it can be rewritten. The cage is not locked. The walls are not real. The only thing holding you back is a story you've been repeating so long, you started to believe it. But you don't have to live in that story one moment longer. Change doesn't start with motivation. It starts with truth. And the truth is, you were meant to grow, to evolve, to stretch beyond everything you thought you were. Growth hurts. That's why most avoid it. But if you're still listening, you're not most people. You're ready. Ready to face what's been holding you back, ready to destroy the excuses, ready to take control. Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. Now, you're not broken, you're buried. Buried under fear, doubt, and silence. And it's time to rise. The world doesn't change by waiting. It changes when one person finally decides, I won't live like this anymore. You can be that person. Not because you have everything figured out, but because you've had enough. Enough pretending, enough settling, enough waiting for permission that no one's ever going to give. This is your turning point. You either keep living inside the cage of your own thoughts, or you break out. You tear it down, you burn the script, and you write a new one decision at a time. No one else is responsible. No one else is to blame. It's you. And that's not a burden. That's your greatest power. There comes a moment in every life when enough is enough. A moment when the pain of staying the same finally outweighs the fear of change. It's not loud. It doesn't come with warning. It's quiet. Still. A whisper in the dark that says, this cannot be all there is. And if you listen, truly listen, it can break you open in the best possible way. Because in that moment, you're no longer willing to keep pretending. You stop numbing, you stop running, you face what's real. And what's real is this: your life is yours, and no one is coming to rescue you. That realization hurts at first. It shatters the illusion that someone else will save you, that time will heal everything, that change will happen on its own. But within that pain is power. You finally understand that the door has been unlocked the whole time. You just had to walk through it. The world told you to wait. Wait until you're ready. Wait until you're stronger. Wait until you have the answers. But ready is a lie. No one feels ready. The only way to become what you're meant to be is to start before you feel prepared. This is the point where most turn back. They feel the pressure, they see the unknown, and they choose comfort again. But if you've made it this far, you're different. You're not asking for easy, you're asking for real. You're asking for something worth waking up for. That means facing yourself. That means standing in front of the mirror and being brutally honest. Are you proud of how you're living? Are you becoming who you said you would be? Or are you hiding behind distraction, behind busyness, behind excuses? You already know the answer. The power to transform your life is not out there somewhere. It's not in some future version of you. It's in the choice you make right now. Will you keep tolerating the life that leaves you empty, or will you step into the discomfort that leads to growth? Pain is not your enemy, it's your signal. It means something needs to change. And the longer you ignore it, the deeper it roots itself into your life. But when you finally say, I've had enough, everything shifts. Not all at once, but enough to spark momentum. And once you taste that forward motion, you'll never go back. Your life begins the moment you stop waiting for it to happen. You don't need more advice. You need a decision, a line in the sand, a commitment that says, I will not waste another day living like I don't matter. Because you do matter. More than you've ever been told. More than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. And the minute you decide to rise, the minute you choose truth over comfort, the rest of your life begins to unfold. ChatGPT said, you are not broken. You are not lost. You are not behind. You are becoming. The The chaos you feel inside is not weakness, it's the sound of transformation. Growth is uncomfortable because it demands the death of who you were. And that's why so many never evolve. They keep trying to drag their old self into a new life. But you can't heal while clinging to the version of you that was built to survive. Survival taught you how to endure. Now it's time to learn how to rise. Your pain isn't proof of failure. It's proof that you're still fighting. That somewhere beneath the fear, the disappointment, the fatigue, you still believe there's more for you. You may not see it clearly yet, but something in you refuses to quit. That's not weakness. That's your spirit. They are signs of strength. They mean you kept going when quitting would have been easier. And that's something to honor, not hide. Stop waiting until you feel perfect to love yourself. Stop waiting until your life looks polished to respect your own journey. Your strength was born in the dark. It didn't need applause to grow. It didn't need validation to keep moving. It just needed you to believe it mattered. And it does. You do. Every piece of you, especially the ones you've been taught to reject, is part of your comeback. You don't need to become someone else to be powerful. You need to return to who you were before the world made you doubt, before fear taught you to play small, before failure convinced you to shrink, before comparison buried your confidence under layers of insecurity. Peel it all back. Beneath the noise, beneath the fear, beneath the pressure to fit in, you'll find someone unstoppable. You're not starting from scratch. You're starting from wisdom, from lessons learned the hard way, from resilience earned through fire. And that's why you can trust yourself now. You've already survived your worst days. You've already made it through storms you thought would break you. So stop asking if you're ready. You were born ready. You were just never told how powerful you already are. This is not about motivation. This is about identity. This is about reclaiming the truth of who you are and refusing to settle for anything less. No more apologizing for your strength. No more shrinking to make others comfortable. No more doubting what you've always known deep down. The most powerful version of you isn't waiting to be found. It's waiting to be unleashed. Radical responsibility is the birthplace of true freedom. It's the moment you stop waiting for someone to give you permission and decide to give it to yourself. No more blaming your past. No more pointing fingers at your circumstances. No more waiting for someone to fix what only you have the power to change. When you own everything, your pain, your choices, your mindset, your reactions, you become unstoppable. Because now you're no longer a victim of what happened. You're the architect of what's next. That shift alone can change everything. Not because the world suddenly becomes easier, but because you stop surrendering your power to things outside your control. It's tempting to wait, to hope that life will somehow correct itself, that the opportunities will appear, the people will understand, the timing will align. But the truth is, nothing changes until you change. The world responds to your energy. It mirrors back what you tolerate, what you believe, and what you stand for. So if you want better, you must become better. If you want more, you must rise and claim it. Not through arrogance, but through courage. Not through perfection, but through relentless responsibility. The reason you feel stuck isn't because you're incapable, it's because you've been outsourcing your power to doubt, to distraction, to delay. And now is the time to take it back. Every excuse you've clung to, every fear you've fed, every lie you've accepted, it's all heavy, and you cannot fly while holding on to weight that was never meant to be yours. Let it go. Own your life, own your time, own your impact. Because nothing will ever feel right on the outside if you're out of alignment with what you know you're meant for on the inside. And the time I was feeling that was when the life began to fade. And I started to feel like I had to chase it away because nothing will ever feel right on the inside. Because nothing will ever feel right on the inside if you're not in touch with who you are. Nothing will ever feel right on the inside. Because nothing will ever feel right on the inside. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself. It means believing in yourself enough to stop settling. It means deciding that your life matters too much to keep living in reaction mode. Every day you wake up, you're faced with the same choice. Continue drifting or start designing. And if you keep drifting, you'll keep arriving at places you never chose. But when you start designing, with intention, with purpose, with clarity, everything begins to shift. Slowly, silently, and then all at once. You don't need more time. You need more truth. And the truth is, you're powerful beyond measure when you stop playing small. You were not born to follow someone else's script. You were not created to repeat the same cycle of doubt and delay. You were made to lead yourself. And the moment you accept that everything is your responsibility, you realize that everything is also your opportunity. That's when the breakthrough comes. Not from a miracle, but from you finally choosing to act like one. Time is not your friend if you treat it like it's endless. Every second that passes is a second you will never get back. Yet most people act like they're immortal, like they can waste today and still expect tomorrow to be different. But change doesn't wait for you. Growth doesn't wait for the perfect moment. Life moves. It moves whether you're ready or not. And if you don't start moving with it, you'll wake up one day wondering where your years went, wondering how you became someone you never meant to be. The illusion is that you have time, but the truth is, time has you. It owns you, unless you take control. Every day you postpone action, you're not staying in place. You're falling behind, not compared to others, but compared to who you could have been by now. The version of you that had the discipline, the courage, the drive, the clarity. That version doesn't come from waiting. It comes from doing. It comes from waking up every morning and choosing purpose over comfort. Choosing to move even when the fear is loud and the doubt is heavy. Procrastination is not laziness, it's avoidance. It's the fear of failing disguised as logic. You tell yourself you'll do it when you're more prepared, when you have more knowledge, when the timing is better. But what if the preparation is in the doing? What if clarity comes from action, not thought? What if the only thing standing between you and the life you crave is the belief that you still have time to waste? You don't. And that's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. You are not here to exist in cycles of delay and regret. You are here to evolve, to expand, to create something with your life that feels meaningful. But meaning doesn't appear, it's built. One choice, one decision, one disciplined step at a time. And those steps must start now. Not because the pressure is on, but because the window is open. And windows close. Opportunities vanish. Time doesn't ask for permission. It just moves on. And the longer you wait, the more you teach yourself that your dreams aren't worth the effort. If you want your future to look different, your present must be different. You don't need permission to start. You don't need motivation to begin. You need a decision. A single moment of absolute clarity that says, I will no longer waste what can never be replaced. Not one more day, not one more hour. You will never get this moment back. So make it count. Make it mean something. Use it to break the pattern. Use it to prove to yourself that you are not a prisoner of time. You are a master of it. Starting now. You've been told to find yourself, as if you were something lost, but the truth is, you're not lost. You've been buried. Buried beneath expectations, beneath fear, beneath every voice that told you to be smaller, quieter, safer. The version of you that was bold, curious, unafraid, that version still lives. It didn't disappear. It was silenced, conditioned out of you. And now, the work isn't about discovering who you are, it's about removing everything you're not. It's about remembering the truth that's been hidden beneath layers of survival. Fear is not your enemy, it's your compass. It points to what matters, it reveals what you care about, it signals what you must face. Most people let fear dictate their limits, never realizing that what they fear most is often the gateway to who they're meant to become. You fear speaking up because your voice is powerful. You fear being alone because your presence carries weight. You fear failure because your dreams matter. Stop treating fear as a stop sign. Start seeing it as a signal that you're getting closer to something real. You were not born to blend in. You were not designed to be a replica of everyone else. You were built with edges, with intensity, with a purpose that won't be fulfilled by playing it safe. The more you try to fit into the mold others created, the more you disconnect from your power. Power doesn't live in conformity, it lives in courage, in truth, in the decision to stand fully in who you are, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's lonely, even when it means being misunderstood. The most powerful thing you can do is strip away the roles, the masks, the titles, and ask, who am I without all of this? That answer isn't found in someone else's approval. It's found in silence, in honesty, in the moments when you choose your truth over your image, when you choose growth over acceptance, when you choose freedom over familiarity. Because real freedom isn't doing whatever you want. It's becoming who you were always meant to be. You don't need to be more like anyone else. You need to become more of yourself, the real you, the one who knows what they want but has been too afraid to admit it, the one who dreams without limits but keeps quiet out of fear of judgment, the one who feels deeply, leads boldly, and loves with fire. That's the you the world needs. That's the you that your future depends on. And the moment you stop hiding is the moment everything begins to change. There's nothing missing inside you. There's only truth waiting to be claimed. You are not becoming someone new. You are becoming who you've always been underneath the noise. And when that version of you steps forward, fully and unapologetically, the world will never forget it. ChatGPT said, "Staying the same has a cost, and it's far higher than most people realize. Every day you delay your growth, you silently agree to live beneath your potential. Every time you choose comfort over courage, you reinforce the idea that your dreams aren't worth the discomfort it takes to reach them. And while that decision may feel harmless in the moment, it compounds over time. It builds a life of quiet frustration, of muted purpose, of unseen pain, until one day you wake up and realize you've become a stranger to yourself, a reflection of everything you tolerated instead of everything you could have created. Change is hard, yes, but regret is harder. The regret of knowing you could have tried, the regret of knowing you didn't speak when your voice mattered, the regret of knowing you played it safe while your heart begged for more. That's the kind of weight that never leaves. It lingers. It shows up in the silence. It shows up in the mirror. And it asks you again and again, why didn't you choose yourself when it mattered most? It's easy to stay where you are. It's easy to justify the familiar, to cling to routines, to let fear make decisions for you. But every excuse, every delay, every reason you give not to rise is another step away from the life that's trying to find you. You weren't created to live in loops. You were made for movement, for transformation, for reinvention. And that can only happen when you're willing to let go of the version of yourself that's keeping you stuck. Staying the same might feel safe now, but look ahead. Look 10 years into your future. Will you be proud of the choices you're making today? Will you thank yourself for the discipline, the risks, the sacrifices? Or will you be haunted by the moments you knew you could have done more, but didn't? Time exposes everything. It reveals what was real and what was just an excuse. It shows what you really valued, not by what you said, but by what you chose. You don't need to know the entire path. You just need to move, take one step, then another, and then another. Momentum doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing. It comes from deciding that where you are is no longer enough, that who you've been is not the full story, that what you want is worth the discomfort, the discipline, the doubt. Because all of that is temporary. But the result of courage, that's permanent. That becomes your legacy. Every second you hesitate is a second you could have used to evolve. Every delay is a decision to remain the same. And that's not who you are. Deep down, you know it. Deep down, you're ready. You're done settling. You're done shrinking. You're done apologizing for wanting more. It's time. Time to rise. Time to move. Time to become. Your future isn't waiting for a miracle. It's waiting for a decision. A single moment where you stop looking for answers outside yourself and realize that everything you need is already within you. Too many people waste years waiting for permission, waiting for a sign, waiting until they feel ready. But readiness is a myth. No one ever feels completely prepared to change their life. You become ready by stepping into the unknown and choosing growth over comfort. Clarity doesn't come before the leap, it comes after. It's found in the movement, in the discipline, in the refusal to keep living in hesitation. The most successful version of you isn't some distant possibility. It's a version you access by showing up differently, by choosing differently, thinking differently, and acting with ruthless consistency. Every decision you make is a vote for the kind of person you are becoming. So ask yourself, are your choices reflecting your vision or your fear? Are you building a future or protecting a comfort zone? There is no middle ground. You're either building or you're breaking, growing or delaying, rising or repeating. Waiting to feel confident is the fastest way to stay stuck. Confidence doesn't show up first. It's the reward for taking action when you're unsure, for standing up when your legs shake, for moving forward while fear screams in your ear. Each time you do what you said you would do, even when it's hard, you build a reputation with yourself. And that's the foundation of real confidence, knowing you can trust yourself to follow through. That trust becomes unshakable. That trust becomes power. You don't need another plan. You need commitment. You don't need another idea. You need execution. You don't need to wait for motivation. You need to become the kind of person who moves regardless of how they feel. Because your life isn't shaped by what you feel like doing. It's shaped by what you do over and over again, especially when it's hard, especially when no one's watching, especially when you feel like giving up. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to be. It's the invisible thread that pulls your future into your present. It's not glamorous, it's not easy, but it's always worth it. Because every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're casting a vote for a stronger, wiser, more focused version of you. And when you stack those choices day after day, you don't just change your habits, you change your identity. This is your reminder that you're not waiting for greatness to find you. You're choosing to create it right now, with what you have from where you are. You don't need perfect conditions. You need persistent action. You don't need to feel inspired. You need to become undeniable. And the only way to do that is to decide fully, fearlessly, and finally that your future starts with what you do now. This moment is not random. You're hearing this because something inside you is done settling. Something inside you is ready to stop existing and start living. You're not here to be a passive observer of life. You're here to shape it, to challenge it, to rise above everything that once convinced you to shrink. There is a fire in you, and it's not going out. It's not going to fade just because people don't understand it. It's not going to disappear just because life has been hard. That fire was placed inside you for a reason, to burn away what's false and light the path toward what's true. You're not just capable of change. You're designed for it. You were built with the ability to evolve, to adapt, to overcome. It's wired into your DNA. The problem is never that you're too weak. The problem is that you've been too distracted, too conditioned, too exhausted by voices that told you to wait your turn. Stay quiet. Play it safe. But that ends now. Because now you know too much. Now you've felt the weight of unfulfilled potential. Now you've tasted the pain of playing small, and once you feel that pain, you can't unfeel it. It demands a response. It demands transformation. You don't need to wait for permission. You are the permission. You don't need approval. You are the standard. You don't need to fit in. You are meant to stand out. Every time you compromise your greatness to make others comfortable, you deny the world the impact only you can make. You weren't born to blend into the noise. You were born to break it, to rise above it, to be louder than the doubt and stronger than the fear. This is the turning point, the one that separates who you've been from who you choose to become. Not through a speech, not through a wish, but through a decision. One that says, I'm done waiting. I'm done doubting. I'm done living a life that looks good on the outside, but feels empty on the inside. You don't need a new year, a new week, or a new excuse. You need now, because now is all you've ever had. And when you finally take control of now, the future rearranges itself around you. The most eye-opening truth is this: no one else is responsible for your rise. No one else is obligated to understand your fire. No one else needs to see it, feel it, or believe in it. That's your job. And once you believe, fully and without apology, the world starts to respond in ways you never imagined. Doors open, energy shifts, people fall away, new strength appears, and it all begins with a decision to stop living on autopilot and start living on purpose. You already know what needs to be done. The truth has been echoing inside you for far too long to ignore it now. The longer you wait, the louder the silence becomes. The weight you carry isn't from the world outside. It's from the war within. The tension between who you are and who you're pretending to be, between what you feel and what you allow, between the life that calls to you and the life you've accepted. That pressure, that ache, that restlessness, it's not confusion. It's clarity begging to be heard. It's your real self refusing to be buried any longer. There is no perfect moment. There is no flawless plan, but there is power in choosing now. This is the moment to draw the line, not for the world, for yourself. This is where you stop living in fragments and start moving in full alignment with your truth. This is where you break the patterns that kept you circling the same place in different disguises. This is where your name becomes a declaration, not just a label. This is where every step forward becomes sacred, because it's no longer about just surviving. It's about becoming. You've always felt the pull towards something greater, that was never random. That was your calling. Not the job, not the title, not the applause. You. Your growth, your fire, your ability to become the strongest version of yourself so that you can lead, inspire, and light the way for others still searching in the dark. You've been waiting for that moment when everything finally clicks. But what if this is it? Not a sign from the sky, not a voice in the wind, just this. Your heart pounding, your breath steady, your mind finally choosing you over fear. The voice inside that's whispering, "Go," is not your enemy. It's your truth. The more you listen, the more you remember. The more you act, the more you reclaim. And the more you reclaim, the less you tolerate anything that tries to keep you small. Your environment may not be ready for your rise, but that's not your problem. You are not here to make others comfortable. You are here to awaken, to disrupt, to build. And if that makes some people uneasy, let it. You were never meant to stay invisible just to keep the peace. You don't need louder noise. You need deeper commitment. The kind that makes you show up when it's hard. The kind that keeps you grounded when everything is shaking. The kind that makes you unstoppable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get stronger. That strength is already in you, waiting, unused, untapped. You've been preparing for this far longer than you realize. And now, all that's left is one choice. Rise, fully and finally. Not half in, not halfway, all in.